Good evening. I'd like to call this St. Andrews Task Force meeting to order. First thing I'd like to do tonight is say congratulations to the Jamesons. For those that don't know, the Jamesons this past Saturday celebrated their 65th wedding anniversary.
Any hints on how to stay married so long?
Say yes.
Say yes.
All right. On the agenda we have reports. First under reports is the iVantage report. And I'm not sure if all of you had seen Lincoln County Health and Maine Health through the St. Andrews Board of Trustees has released their statement after looking at our report. It basically states that they saw no new information, but let me read from their report here. In reviewing the report, trustees noted various points of agreement with the recommendations presented. First, exploring opportunities to collaborate with area hospitals and providers. Secondly, sharing specialists and other providers to maintain a range of care services. And third, identifying ways to work closely with the community to ensure affordable and accessible care at St. Andrews. I think I can speak for the task force and say we look forward to sitting down at the table with them some more and discussing this.
Go ahead, please. No, please.
Go ahead, Smith.
Are they going to do that?
I'm not altogether sure they're going to be willing to sit down at the table with us. We'll see how that goes. But.
So you haven't met since the 27th of January, right? With Lincoln County Health?
No.
Okay.
But like I said, we're willing to sit down and discuss.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Okay. Libby.
What if they don't come and sit down with us anymore? Do we have a plan in place what we're going to do?
There are a few things that's being looked at, some folks that are being talked to, and that'll come a little bit later on in the reports, and I'm hoping that that'll answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
Patty?
Did the board actually have a vote?
The Board of Trustees?
The St. Andrews Board of Trustees.
If they did, it's not in their release.
Okay.
I know they had a meeting. I think it's safe to assume that there were no changes in their position. Again, we've had no communication that indicates that anybody changed anybody's mind.
Anyone else? Mike?
So can it be said that if the goal of the task force is to save St. Andrews as a critical access hospital, the response falls short at this time?
I would say yes, Mike.
And therefore we need to carry on.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it says in their January 31st statement, revision for Group A Region Healthcare, which was in the register. It said the board, Lincoln County Health, believes the record should be corrected on 3 points made in the consultant's report. That no one entity owns St. Andrews Hospital, that the definitive agreement between the hospital and Maine Health states certain services will be preserved unless the trustees deem it necessary to change them, and that the report's direct comparison to particularly remote communities in rural Maine distorts the issue of access to care since there are several nearby hospitals.
Yes.
Well, what are the several nearby hospitals? There's Miles and there's Midcoast, is that correct? That's it?
Miles, Midcoast, Parkview.
But they're not nearby, and it's like,
Depends what your
In
definition
their
of is.
opinion, it is. Well, they keep throwing out that 18 miles. I hear that all the time, 18 miles.
Yeah, from where?
From Edgecombe.
Certainly not from New Agate.
do you folks have the agreement between St. Andrews and Maine Healthcare? The original, do you have a copy of that?
Yes.
And you also have a copy of when we incorporated with Lincoln County Health, correct?
I don't think there's any document that details the agreement.
Well, in that agreement, does it say anywhere that the terms of the agreement can be changed at any given time?
Yes, it's
It does.
predicated upon the vote of what? The St. Andrews Board of Trustees, which is, of course, the Miles Board of Trustees / the Lincoln County Healthcare Board of Trustees.
Then there's really not any legal recourse there.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Well, it seems like there isn't.
Anyone else?
I'd like to make one more comment on that, Chuck. Just that I think all of us in this region that have made this and are making this valiant fight need to recognize that Lincoln County Healthcare is just not going to change their mind. They're just not going to. So the only way this is going to happen is if we as a community can force their hand. And we're going to talk about some of those things in the near future. But that's where we're at. I mean, they're not changing their mind. So it's really going to come down to what people are prepared to do.
Right.
My brother, sorry.
No, no problems. Next thing under reports, the AG's proposal to apply FOA to hospitals. I'm not sure how many of you saw the Portland Press Herald today. It seems that Attorney General Mills thinks that board meetings for any hospital that is accepting a large amount of public funds, i.e. Medicare or Medicaid, their board meetings should be open. I do know that I believe it's the Maine Hospital Association's lobbying group is very strong in Augusta. There's been a couple of proposals offered in Augusta in the last few years that have been shot down. It encourages me to see that she's looking at this, and hopefully some of that came out of items that we were running into, i.e. no board minutes, closed door meetings, and that has gotten her thinking. That's just my opinion, and I had shared my opinion with Sue earlier in the day via email. I'm not sure if you folks would like to weigh in on that proposal.
Go right ahead, brother. You're doing fine.
Well, I was just going to say there's two bills pending right now up in Augusta too that deals with this. Nonprofit board and hospital minutes and bylaws.
Do we need to start a letter writing campaign?
I know, according to the article, she's still working on the draft language. She's looking for legislators to put forward the bill for her and co-sponsor it. I'm looking forward to see what she comes up with for language. Jane?
Chuck, what's this? I got a chance to read this tonight. It said the measure would allow the public to attend board deliberations at those hospitals on issues such as capital expansion, projects and purchases that could affect host communities and taxpayers. How does one get this to be a little more, the wording a little more elaborate, or like downsizing or reducing hospital services? Could we how it impact or change of services. Can we, that paragraph, how would we, sitting here in this room, be effective in adding something to this paragraph?
Yeah, I share your concerns.
Yeah.
As I told Sue earlier, I'd like to see her expand her language a little bit to include any change in scope of
Any
services.
changes?
Well,
And-
further down in the article, it says that the only thing that they would not discuss in public would be personnel.
Obviously.
You know, they go
Yeah.
through.
They would have to follow the same rules that
You do.
municipal boards do.
Yeah, right.
And there are exceptions where you can go into executive session. Personnel is one.
Right.
Dealing with your attorney is another. There's 6 different items that are set up in
Well,
state statute.
they would also have HIPAA requirements that would
Yes.
allow them to do that too. So.
So to answer my question, is there anything any one of us in this room can do to help that? Right, other than writing a letter with a suggestion? Or what are the proper channels, or what would
Should we look at
I
the
would say-
legislators to support
Yep.
the bill?
legislators?
Yeah, where she's looking for legislators to sponsor the bill for her and co-sponsor it, it would be a good idea to get in touch with your local representatives.
Right. Right.
Mike?
If I could suggest, if you go to the Attorney General's website, if you have the compunction to do so, write a letter right to that website. There's an email address, and it will land on Janet Mills' desk, office, if not her desk. But the more support she sees, the more oomph she will give this, in my opinion. So, it's a old squeaky wheel.
It's
But
certainly.
you can indeed contact the AG's office right through their website.
So that's the form that you fill in, Mike?
No, I'm just talking about the general AG's website.
Right.
There's a contact us.
Yeah, I clicked on it today and
You
it
did.
gives you a form to fill in.
I wasn't aware that there was a form, but.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Didn't see any
what
email.
I'm merely saying, any way we can communicate the sentiment to that office will help.
Okay.
Without doubt.
Certainly the prerogative of everybody in this great country to make their opinions known to the people that run our institutions.
Libby?
I don't know if you noticed on that article, if you're reading it online, they had like a straw poll there where you could vote whether you wanted to, that you agreed with this and that you would like to see that the meetings were open. So I would encourage everybody to go home tonight, go online and find that and vote yes.
I would encourage you also, because earlier when I went to vote, when you vote, they show you how it's running, and it was 79% no and 21% yes.
It's better than that now.
Good, but go home and vote yes.
Several times.
Several times.
That's on Portland Press Herald.
Early and often.
The website for the AG is pretty easy. It's maine.gov/AG.
And
Say that again?
Maine.gov/AG.
And if you feel the desire or have the energy to do it, also write Tina Moylan and Linda Conti. Tina Moylan and Linda Conti, they're both in the AG office. And they're the ones that would be the lead on issues like this.
Oh, great.
Tina Moylan,
How you spell last name?
Moylan, M-O-Y-L-A-N,
Hey,
yeah. And Linda Conti.
CONTI.
And the question that the ladies alluded to, I've got the article here in front of me, it's a straightforward question. Should Maine hospitals that receive public funding be forced to hold public meetings? Yes or no?
But just remember that that's a Press Herald poll.
Yes.
They're just going to use it for Press Herald purposes.
Next under reports, the Community Hospital Work Group. Patty?
Let's see, we don't have too much report this week. We will be going to see 2 more critical access hospitals in Bridgeton and Rumford on the 18th and 20th of February. Again, they've been very gracious in rolling out the red carpet and making sure their entire executive team will be there to answer any questions that we have about how to run a good hospital. And Bridgeton in particular has, like us, the seasonal characteristics, and they also, like us, were almost closed down and resurrected themselves with a lot of community support. So we're very interested in hearing their story. That's about it.
Did you say Rumford was the other one?
Yeah, next.
Ben?
Did you
Oh, I'm
say
sorry.
Rumford was the other one?
Yeah. Bridgeton and Marshall. So Jane Good also has points to bring up.
Upon a suggestion of the task force, said, at what point do we get the community involved for the Attorney General's office? So, we have a letter here that states Janet Mills, Attorney General's office, and it references to our breach of trust and to our advantage report. And it reads, I, Jane Good, support the work and decision of the St. Andrews Task Force to keep the hospital open as we know it today. St. Andrews Hospital has an emergency room department open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To remain a critical access hospital, our emergency department cannot be closed, as Lincoln County Healthcare and Maine Healthcare have determined will occur on October 1st. Therefore, St. Andrews would only have an urgent care department open 10 hours a day. As a result of closing the hospital, the entire peninsula will have the burden of additional costs required to operate the Boothbay Region Ambulance Service, $400,000 via property tax. Please help us save our beloved St. Andrews Hospital. I've collected 60 of these in my shop this week, and I had a customer come see me. She took 20. And then she came back and got another 50. I walked into the bank the other day and just had my clerk, I said, would you like to sign this? I know it's business hours, would you like to sign this? Well, before I was through, the manager of the bank was out there, all the loan officers were up in my face, and everybody's asking for 20 copies so that they can run them around town and sign them. So I printed up 600, I'm gonna print up another 600. My goal for the task force is, I've got groups of 10 here, packed up. I'd love it if each one of you on the task force has your heart in it to get 10 of these each signed. And if there are 30 in the room, we got 300 already. I've got another 100 at home. We can do this. We can do this.
Are you signing them or sending them?
No, we're signing them, and this box right here is going to look just like this, and it's going to be in the town hall lobby out here. So I'm urging everybody in the community. I have people ask me all the time, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do to help? I feel so helpless. I know you're all working so hard. What can I do? Well, this is something you can do, Channel 7, TV land out there. You must drive by this town hall, leaving town and coming back in town. I'm asking you to take 5 minutes of your time. Just 5 minutes. Come in, grab one of these, sign it. Put it in this envelope. How simple could it be? Better yet, take 10 or 12. We all have neighbors, we all have friends, we all have family. This Attorney General thing is going to be powerful for us. So let's make it the best we can. All this work that we've done, let's support it. Also, the new webpage going up, Mary or Alice has posted this letter on there. So people who live in Florida, Washington, wherever, you can go online. The website is what, please?
The website is under the Boothbay Register.
Stand right up so everybody can hear that and get this right.
The website is under the Boothbay Register. Okay, hold on with You can go in under a few ways. One of there is a direct one. You go to boothbayregister.com/affiliate/St-Andrews-Hospital/9056 or you got it.
What did it say?
Or the other way is that you can go get in under the registry and do a search.
For St. Andrews?
For St. Andrews Hospital, you'll come up to another one that will be highlighted. Click onto that and it will bring you into that website. So what's on there is the Advantage Report, the legal position paper, the Community Speaks. That letter that somebody can download. Mission statement. I'm thinking what else is under there? I think that's as far as we've got.
Pictures.
A lot of
The dinner.
Community dinner.
Community dinner.
I'm sorry, the community dinner is there. in full
It was
force.
easy to get on
We haven't got
the
your
site.
pictures because we haven't quite got that one straightened out. But we'll keep posting that one until we keep that right out
The
there.
16th.
Yeah.
So the address and all is right on top here. If you do only live here in the summers, you live away in the winter, the address is there, so download it on the computer, put it in an envelope and mail it. What is it, 46 cents, am I right? Yeah, 46 cents. The other thing, gals, everybody keeps telling me a story that signs these. And, you know, I don't think people are maybe perhaps as prone to go home and write a 3-page letter to the Attorney General or even a page letter to the Attorney General. But there's enough space down in here. This hospital saved my father's life. It kind of puts a face to it more than thinking we've encouraged, totally encouraged people to sign this. These stories, I hear them all the time. The gal at the bank, her father was there in the nursing home, and she didn't drive, so she said the only way she could see him at his end of life was to have him here. The Attorney General needs to hear that. You know, we need this hospital. So this is our effort to engage the Attorney General's office. So
And you're going to deliver those?
I'm going to leave stacks of 10 here, and I hope everybody
No,
will
I
take.
mean to the Attorney General. What happens to
Oh,
them?
yes, I'm hopeful when we get 500, we'll take Bruce McDonald or Fran McGreedy or Mike could deliver them for us, like 500 at a time. Because we have
Until the
2,000
Attorney General
signatures.
says, I've had enough.
Well, probably, but we have 2,000 signatures on our petition, so I don't know. Let's go for it. Let's just see how much we can do here with this. Okay, this is powerful, I think. And let me think, summer people, I think that's it that I need to. Please pick those up, and for anybody else, I'm also going to extend my phone number. And I know somebody gasped, I don't care. You can pick them up at my house. Please pull in on the island, Southport Island. Here it is. I will hand you a stack of these. You can call me, I will deliver them to you.
And have a haircut while you're.
And have a haircut, a few laughs, we're all set. So there you go.
Tom?
I'd like to add a little bit to that. The Attorney General is obviously very important in all of this. We talked earlier about this law that the Attorney General is advocating. That's a law that would have to be passed by the legislature and signed by the governor, etc. Similarly, the law that Bruce described last time in terms of making the bylaws public. But with respect to the question of what's to be done with St. Andrews, it is possible, it seems to me, as a non-lawyer, that the Attorney General could act upon not the agreement that was made, but the original Articles of Incorporation for St. Andrews back in 1955, called for the establishment of a hospital in Booth Bay Harbor on the peninsula. And that has never changed, despite the many changes that have occurred in the Articles of Incorporation of the St. Andrews Charitable Corporation. It's still chartered by the state to support a hospital in Booth Bay Harbor. So these letters to the Attorney General are important because the Attorney General on her own could take action that saw to it that the original charter for the charitable corporation was properly fulfilled.
I agree. Yes. Mike?
You made a good moment to comment on that. At Bruce McDonald's request, I met with Christina Moyen a week ago today. Bruce felt that we could solidify our position that the Lincoln County Health indeed intends to close St. Andrews. He didn't know if he had been convincing enough. I met with Tina Moy and gave her a page-and-a-half list of individual reasons why we know St. Andrews is closing. Interestingly, one that I found was all their job opportunities. If you go to their website, all the job opportunities for professional people at St. Andrews are listed as temporary. They're not listed as temporary at any of their other sites. I found that kind of a curious one. I was convinced, rather I know that that office is exploring all legal avenues. And to give you a feel for how much I tried to find out, at one point Tina had to say, Mike, I'm here to listen. But she knows what's going on. I do have a logistics question. Do they have the petition yet?
No, they don't actually have the petition.
But they know formally about it in writing that we have 1,700 signatures.
Yeah, we gave them the summary that I wrote up of how many petitions were received.
Yeah, so that's documented. Yeah. Okay, good. So what I'm saying, particularly Tom, is that it's not merely what was addressed in Julius's legal position that might be being explored by that office. I have no reason to say factually what they're doing, but my impression is that every possible angle is being explored by folks that I know to be pretty good attorneys.
Great.
Anyone else? All right. Next under reports, data analysis report. Anything new under data? Okay. Volunteer coordinator. Livy.
Well, y'all have already covered some of the things I had on my list here, which is fine. But I wanted to let everybody know, I want to say a special thank you to Pam Reed and Debbie Watson. They have been sending out letters to summer residents. Debbie Watson sent out 125 letters last week. She said that she figured they probably hit their mailboxes on Friday. And this morning she came in and she had some signed petitions and $575.
All right, way to go.
So I think she deserves some.
Yeah.
Was that Spruce Wall?
Yes, it was. That was Spruce Wall. And that brings me around, and I'm sure that Pam and them will be doing this, to ask everybody, Valentine's Day is coming up. And you always think of your loved one at Valentine's Day. What better way to honor them than making a donation for Valentine's Day to the Save St. Andrews Fund? And I know I'd rather have that than a card and a box of chocolates. So. You're hitting up your husband, right? Yeah. So all of you out there, especially that's watching on Channel 7, you know, think about that and stop by the either the first and make a donation, or come by the town office and leave a donation here. And I think Alice is going to give an update on the bank account at the first, right?
Yeah, not much.
And are you still going to talk some more about
I just
the
have one
website?
more thing to add for the website. It has to be paid for, needless to say. We have like 6 people who are willing to do a month. I need like 6 more people to take a month. For a month will be $39.80. So anybody wants to do that, just see me after this meeting's over, okay? In the second opinion fund, not much has changed. I think a big $25 is all that's come in. So we still need to raise $13,189.73. There's $5,185.27 in the account. That's it.
All right, bring that Valentine money in. Put it in there. I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next under reports, Bluefield Region Ambulance Service.
I spoke with Robbie Ham. He called me right before the meeting. wanted to let me know that he wasn't going to have anybody from the ambulance, the ambulance service here tonight, but that the budget review for the ambulance services is active right now. I guess they've met with Southport.
They did.
They meet with Booth Bay Harbor tomorrow night, and they'll meet with the Booth Bay Board of Selectmen on
Monday.
On Monday the 11th. So their budget process is actively being done right now, and they're hopeful that that everybody will review the budget and see that they rationally put it together.
And I will say, when they came over and presented to us, that, you know, they're presenting the big number, understanding that if October 1st comes and goes and the changes that we don't want have occurred, then they've got a budget for that, and it's going to be a topic of conversation, I would assume, at everyone's town meetings. But I think they've put a fairly sharp pencil to it, and they're doing the best they can. And they certainly, if things go the way we hope they go, are going to be more than happy to downgrade that proposal. So they're doing the best they can, I believe.
Was your board shocked?
No, because I've had them well aware of that. Don't be shocked, because you're going to be shocked. So. And also, one of the people, you know, Jerry Gamage from our board is on the board with RAS to have their budget negotiated. So, yeah, we knew what was coming. We knew what was coming. Everybody knows what's coming.
Can you say something about the state of the town meeting and the what's to be voted and who will vote on what and the budget?
Well, I can only speak for Southport, but I mean, we've got, their proposal is going to be one of our warrant, you know, to be voted on, and, you know, the town people will have a chance to, I'm sure they're going to be there to discuss why and the wherefores of what's going on. And I think most people, again, through, you know, Channel 7 and the Register, is aware of what's happening. But there'll be a lively debate. I don't think there's any question, you know, that people are going to, you know, have a big decision to make. You know, what do you do? Do you vote for all of it? Do you vote for some of it? Do you vote for none of it? You know, people are going to want to know those things.
When is your town meeting?
It's in March.
March 4th.
4th.
Yep.
Well, when is your election?
For
selectmen?
it's that same day. It's during the day. Yeah. We have the elections during the day, and then the town meeting is that evening. Yeah.
You
Alice.
voted on the 2014 budgets, am I right? Does that mean for 2013, everyone's gonna have to go back out and referendum to the people?
No, because for the 2013 budget, that's already been taken care of, and the tax bills have already gone out for those.
Right.
And the hospital isn't supposed to transition until October 1, so it won't affect the 2013.
It's a common, people get confused on the fiscal year of the towns, and I think all four of these towns are on the same fiscal year. July 1 is fiscal year 2014, and that's what we're discussing, is that budget for that year.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes. Could you tell us when the other town meetings are?
Ours is May
6th
May
for the town
6th.
of Booth Bay.
Yep.
Ours is May 4th for the town of Booth Bay Harbor. It's a Saturday morning.
And ours is the 11th.
So it's
When is
May
yours?
4th for Booth Bay Harbor, May 26th?
May 6th.
May 6th for Booth Bay,
Okay.
and May 11th for Edgecombe. And yours is March
4th. The only day of the year that's an order.
What time does yours start?
9 a.m. I think.
All at 9 o'clock in the morning?
No, ours is in the evening. Ours is 7 o'clock, Jim? Or is it 7:30?
The time we close the polls 6, and then I think the meeting's 7:30. Yeah.
On the 6th?
Yes.
Yes.
And Booth Bay Harbor's 9 a.m., isn't it?
I think it is.
What about Edgecombe?
10 a.m.
I'm just doing all this so that everybody out there watching can go to their town meeting this year.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a problem with that.
You don't.
Margaret, it's also going to depend on whether or not the selectmen decide to have it during open town meeting or on the ballot. Now, with Booth Bay Harbor, you guys vote on the ballot the day before, right?
Correct. Our voting on the ballot would be May 3rd, Friday, May 3rd, at the Booth Bay Harbor Town Office.
That's for selectmen and all the other.
Selectmen, and then referendum questions.
And with Booth Bay, I think the same thing with Southport and Edgecombe. We vote on selectmen and offices during the day, referendums during the day, and then have the open town meeting at night.
We vote the day before,
You do?
Friday, and then we'll have the town meeting on Saturday.
Okay, so you're odd too, Stu. Anyone else? All right. Next under reports, financial and fundraising.
In your information packets, I gave you the account status for the St. Andrews account in the town of Booth Bay general account, the same breakdown I've been giving you. So the balance on that account is $15,578.88. All bills have been paid to date, so that is a legitimate balance now. The last bill that we paid out was expenses for Gabaro when they came in for the last briefing. So we're caught up to date. I had a discussion with Julius about further legal costs, and we can, once we decide what avenues he will and will not do, we'll start putting together into an agreement that'll keep the cost down, similar to what we did in the past.
Okay.
Is it correct that it's the end of March that Lincoln County Health has to respond to the legal?
We asked for a request from Lincoln County Healthcare in the Advantage study by March 31st, 2013.
I think they already have it.
I would say their press release was probably their response.
Yeah.
Anything new on?
I'd just like to know, I'm turning over a check tonight. It's a moderate amount, but the concept was very interesting. And it came with a note that said the enclosed amount has been donated to Save St. Andrews Committee in honor of the 98th birthday of Lucille Marchand. So I thought that was a great idea, and hopefully other people will think that's a great idea too.
Thank you.
I think we have other fundraising announcements probably from Pam for the dinner.
Yeah, we're coming right along on the dinner. Remember, everybody, it is the 15th of February. You bring everybody you know, sweethearts and everybody else. And it's a week from Friday. We could still use a few things. We have down on our list, we could still use some vegetables. And does anybody out there make scallop potatoes? That's one thing we don't have. We can still use desserts and pies. And if there's anybody out there that doesn't want to cook or doesn't have the time, we'll take money too. Because we still need to buy things like bread and butter and ice and, a lot of little things like that. And this works right into this. I did get a $20 bill from a lady that was on St. Andrews Thrift Auxiliary. She's one of the members. And she told me, we were having a slight discussion about the hospital. And I said, you're laughing at me. I said that when the emergency room closes, the hospital's done. And she said, oh, no, that those swing beds are still going to be there. I said, no, they're not. And she said, oh, yes, they are. They're going to put people from the Gregory wing in there. So if she thinks that, now she's been told that, if she thinks that that's the right thing, how many other people out there also think that's right? It's not. but they have been told by the powers that be, which I think is Lincoln Health, that that's what's going to happen.
Well, there has been some discussion, I must say, of...
But that doesn't keep them, right?
It certainly does not keep the hospital as a hospital.
Okay.
There is no question about that.
That's what I want
But there
people to
has been
understand, that just because they are asking for a license, which they have to get before they can add those beds to the Gregory wing, that is not going to keep the hospital open.
No.
That's going to be just an extension of the Gregory wing, am I right?
Yeah, it won't keep the hospital open. They are looking at changing those swing beds into SNF beds.
Skilled nursing.
Skilled nursing.
Right. Okay, but there is a difference.
They bought that place up in Waldoboro, so they got 12 beds there that they're talking about transferring down there and expanding that, so.
But everybody out there
is,
should...
without equivocation, if they do what they're talking about doing, and make that an urgent care facility, it ceases to be a critical access hospital. There's no question.
Okay.
Right now, there's a sign out front that says St. Andrew's Hospital.
Right.
It will not say that anymore.
Right.
That's what I want. Remove the word hospital from the sign.
It will
And if
say
this lady thinks
St. Andrew's Healthcare Center, which is already on their paperwork.
If this lady thinks that, then there's got to be other people out there that are thinking the same thing as she is, and it's got to be made understood that it will no longer be a hospital. Okay,
Mike?
but don't forget the dinner. You know, give us a holler if you can make anything. Jenny's names and numbers in the newsletter. My name and number, I don't know, but Libby put our email address. That's either way. Just give us a holler, you know, if you can make something. That'll be great. And come and eat. Thank you.
All right. Mike?
Absolutely, to be redundant, and so there's no misunderstanding on the part of the public. Making the beds that we are, the hospital beds, the critical access hospital beds available for Gregory wing type use, no more maintains that as a hospital than if they made those beds available to the Tugboat Inn. Their beds being used as beds, that's the only similarity. It doesn't maintain our hospital, so please don't be sold bill of goods.
Right.
The only thing I had under old business was the website, which Alice explained very nicely earlier. So we'll move on to new business, community information meetings. We need to set up a full public meeting, and I believe there's already something in line for a public officials briefing.
Well, I think we should talk about a discussion, a date possibility. I'd like to see us do a public officials briefing back to our select boards, since we're the representatives to the select board, and I know we all, every meeting, give a report on what's going on, but I think this warrants, a separate meeting, and it'd be great to have the PowerPoint presentation that Patty and Rick prepared and present that to them as a courtesy ahead of the full public meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what date would work for all of our boards. I'm sure not everybody will be able to attend, but if we can pick something that maybe works for us and go from there.
Okay.
You got mine.
Well, how soon do we want to do the community meeting? How soon do we want to move on this all? Because
Well, Lincoln County is having a meeting on the 27th, right?
I thought that had been called off.
Yeah, it's
Has it been?
postponed. We told you to save it on your calendars, but the last I'd heard is that won't happen on the 27th. But I'll let you know as soon as I know anything.
So I can delete that.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right.
Maybe we could do ours on the 27th.
But I can tell you that
The same thing?
the gymnasium is reserved for the 27th.
Is
So
it?
why don't we just pick up that date?
That wouldn't be extraordinarily hard. It would be pretty easy.
Valerie won't be here though.
Valerie won't be there.
Aruba, Jamaica,
She's getting
girl, I'm gonna take you to Bahama.
Lady.
Oh, baby, mama.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we can all go to Valerie. She is too. Let's vote on that.
Well, Booth Bay and Booth Bay Harbor meet on Monday night, the 11th and the 25th, and
We meet on Wednesdays, but we quite often do things afterwards because,
well, maybe would Wednesday the 13th work for anybody? We have budget meetings 4:30 to 6.
I won't be there.
Makes it a bit tight. You can't do it the 13th. So we could do it Monday the 18th.
That's President's Day.
We could celebrate.
That might be. I'm just saying.
And I'm going on
You'll be gone?
vacation then too.
Yeah, Booth Bay has comp plan meeting that night.
20th?
talking February?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what's going on.
The 19th, we're supposed to have a St. Andrews Task Force meeting. We could do it then.
We could use that night as our public officials briefing.
Mm-hmm. Could work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Works for me.
Awesome.
We're
I'm
working
not
on the
chance.
site.
Yeah. So site to be determined, but the 19th at 7 o'clock for the public
Well,
officials.
if it's all right with these good people, we'll be taking over their meeting time.
Oh, right.
I just think we ought to pass it by you good folks. How do you feel about that?
Is it gonna be a closed meeting?
Is it gonna be a closed meeting?
It can't be a closed meeting. It'll be, because all of our select boards will be there, so it'll be a public meeting. I wouldn't imagine there being a public comment section, even though it would be open to the public, but that's not a necessary thing either. But I would want us to save the public comments and the big community, reactions and feedback and questions for the actual community meeting.
It'd be a briefing for the rest of the selectmen to get their thoughts on the process as we know it. And the information that has been gathered and presented to us, which we've presented to LCH and Maine Health. And we coordinate with Patty and Rick. I know Rick has said that he'd be willing to show the PowerPoint.
Right.
You've been involved, and your knowledge is fantastic, so if you can be there like that as well.
I mean, we could I'm just talking out loud here, but we could do the group meeting and then segue into one of these as well, a task force meeting.
Yeah. I think that would work too.
So you want to start?
We could just come in later or earlier.
How long do you think it would take to show?
I think it's gonna be, I would say 30 minutes.
So why don't we plan maybe to do the selectmen's things a little earlier? Why don't we, we usually meet here at 7, we talk about 6. Does that work?
Works for me.
6 o'clock, wherever we end up doing it, and then we can, I don't know, how's that work for you, brother?
I got Board of Corrections and 6 is gonna be tight.
6:30.
6:30 to 7:30, and then have the regular task force 7:30.
Does that work for you, brother? Better?
Better.
Yeah.
We can bring you a sandwich.
We will bring you one.
We'll bring you leftovers from the meal.
Does that work for everybody? Start the regular task force meeting at 7:30 then?
Yes.
Okay.
Where is this gonna be held? Can you do it here?
We don't know, it's to be determined.
Okay.
What day is that?
Posted on the
19th.
19th.
Can you tell me if that's a Monday, Tuesday night?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, regular Tuesday, thanks.
All right.
It must be Tuesday.
Excellent. So maybe via email, we'll figure out a site, and then we can each be responsible for inviting our select board
We could
members.
potentially get
to
it in the
evening.
register on the 14th too, couldn't we?
Right, yes, we should probably do that.
I'm just saying.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Put the notice in the
Yeah, then you can
register?
rest up afterwards.
Yeah, I don't mind doing the notice in the register. I was just looking at, I'm always trying to be cognizant of the registers, their due date. And so if you're gonna have a meeting on the 19th, you're gonna,
Have to get this pulled together in time to get it on the 14th, so which means they'd have to know by the
so
12th.
your public notice would be the 13th. And that's less than 7 days prior to the meeting, so.
Well, we're
No,
announcing the date, we just don't
you
have
can,
the spot yet. You know,
Is
so
Steve
maybe
here?
we're
You
meeting
can,
that-
you only have to post it in 2 places. You can,
Yeah, I know, but the community's kind of very aware of the register posted, so I think.
Well, the thing is with that, the print version of the paper comes out Wednesday night.
yeah.
The website version is updated on a daily basis.
Yes, it is.
Right.
It's not a violation of FOA law if you post it in the town office, but what I'm just saying is most people, that's where they first see the posting, so.
Is it possible to get something in for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah?
Sue?
I hear a yes from the back. That's a good source right there.
Yeah.
I can't get a public notice in, but I certainly can put that into an article. And
Right.
it would be in tomorrow's paper.
That's what I was trying to
So,
say.
so we've got everything
Good
but
for
the
that.
location, just that it's gonna happen and the location TBS.
And we,
All right.
and we want to make sure that this is the town officials'
Briefing.
preview briefing of the second opinion presentation,
Mm-hmm.
not the big public
Right,
Right.
presentation, because we want, this is kind of like the dry run, rather than.
Dress
the big-
rehearsal.
Dress rehearsal, right.
Do we want to lock in the 27th for the big community meeting? I won't be here, but
I would say that if the gymnasium was already booked for a big public meeting and that party has unfortunately decided not to hold their meeting, then we grab the spot.
No,
I
no.
wouldn't
Catherine?
necessarily do that.
Okay,
I would say that that space has been held open for February 27th, but there's discussions that are going on.
okay, so there's still
you can-
discussions on whether or not it
You
can.
can hold the 27th for that potential meeting,
I'm happy to do that.
but
My
I
pleasure.
met, I'll be honest, I met earlier this week and I'm meeting next week. So I don't have an answer either. I'm in a holding pattern. So I would say please don't.
Well, let's
Okay.
not try to do two
Yep.
things on the same night.
well, what about the 20th? The next day?
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday for a
Yeah.
community meeting?
March.
No, it's, I think it's March 2nd, or it's the Saturday before the Monday meeting in
The Southport
Southport.
meeting.
Oh,
So March 2nd and is a Saturday.
To be honest, I'd like to see us get this out sooner than that.
February 23rd?
That's a Saturday. I'm not sure how many people you get on a Saturday. I'm thinking
You won't get me,
evening.
I'll tell you right now.
I'll be working. There's nothing on the 22nd.
Friday night.
So did you say no to the 20th?
Tuesdays and Fridays, you probably wouldn't be able to get it because of basketball.
Oh,
Especially as they get towards the tournament.
all right.
Tournament starts the 18th, doesn't it?
Let me see if I can get in touch with,
That's right, that week.
let me see if I can get in touch with
That
Dave
week,
Bennett
is there
tomorrow and
anything
see if we
after?
could get the 20th or 21st.
Either of those would be fine. Oh, yeah.
So we're aiming for the 20th or 21st?
20th is tournament, you're not gonna get any.
Yeah, that's a good point, because both girls and boys are doing really well this year, so.
Yeah, we don't want to.
They're gonna be in the tournament, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the week
26th?
of the 18th, so.
That's Tuesday.
That would be fine with me.
What are we looking at?
What?
Val just asked about the 26th.
What was the question?
Well,
I'm
I would
sorry.
be-
Tuesday, the 26th?
Go
For the
for it.
community meeting?
Yeah.
No, I mean for my
I won't be
birthday.
here yet.
Is that your birthday?
Yeah, could be that.
That's the fourth Tuesday. I won't be here. You won't need me there anyways.
Tuesday, the 26th.
You want to aim for the 26th?
Do you think we can get, do we want to do it at the school again?
it'll take a little bit of work to make sure we can get to school, but I won't know that tonight, but we can know it pretty quickly tomorrow, the next day.
We'll definitely need a venue bigger than this room.
What about Southport Town Hall?
A lovely spot.
I mean, it's big, you know.
It's fairly big.
It has a good audio system.
Yeah. Do you think people would come from?
I would.
It isn't that far away. 100 miles
It's a
away.
long way over there, I don't know.
Less stress on the bridge.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have the bridge
Yeah,
open
you're
for
fast.
So that could be our backup?
It'd be awful cozy. Awful cozy.
Well, why don't we shoot for the school since it's so
Yeah.
central and
What
we've
about
done
the fire
meetings there
station?
before.
It's always good for everything.
Not on
That's,
Thursday
yeah, that's
night, no.
quite a lot of people potentially. I mean, you're welcome to come, but I mean, if we get the turnouts that we've had,
Yeah, that's the thing. We
Yeah.
had about, what,
You know,
between 250
be,
and 300 every time.
Can't even seat that many there, can you?
In the fire station? No.
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 No,
And it's
or
great, because they
Southport.
pull bleachers out if we have more. I mean, it's just great.
It's a good venue.
Let's just touch base with the school system and we'll
Well,
find out if, we'll know tomorrow if it's available.
And then you could do Southport as a backup.
So we're gonna look at 20, 21, and 26, or
What
just
date are we
26?
talking now?
We don't
Any
know
of those
yet.
are fine.
Oh, we don't know.
well, you're talking the 26th.
What day?
Tuesday the 26th.
And then
They
if
talk about it.
Lincoln County Health decides to have theirs, they'll be the next night.
Yeah, we'll leave the seats in place for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have it all
And we
set
can
up.
warm up that.
Yeah.
Okay, so in summary, the public officials briefing will be Tuesday, February 19th from 6:30 to 7:30, with the task force meeting to follow at 7:30 at a site to be determined. And we'll shoot for the community meeting on Tuesday, the 26th, hopefully at the Boothbay Region Elementary School. And Jim, will you be able to check with the school?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll send Dave an email and follow up in the morning.
And I'll coordinate with her.
Okay, great. And if Sue would be so kind to put an article for tomorrow's paper.
I can check in with Jim. If we
Okay.
can lock in times and dates for 4:10, it'll go in this
Oh.
week's print.
Oh, you have a special deadline.
Wow.
The time for the community meeting,
Whenever.
7
Well,
o'clock.
probably whenever's not appropriate.
When have we had it before?
7
I think it was
p.m.
at 7.
One was at 6:30, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Because it was
I
going
kind of
on
like
late.
6:30.
6:30?
Sure.
And then the other factor there is if we're competing against another event that's happening in the school,
Right.
we can push it.
Yeah.
Okay. Phew.
While you're on that topic, I just want to let everybody know that the PowerPoint that we're talking about, which is the summary of the Ivantage report in human accessible form, is now in its 16th draft. So we've been iterating and getting everybody's input, but I don't have input from everybody in this room. So anybody who would like to get an advance copy can give me your email address, and I would like to keep it a very small distribution. It's not ready for public distribution yet, but if you want to take a look at it and give us feedback, we would welcome your thoughts. So come and give me your email address, or if you don't have an email address, then I'll arrange to get a numbered copy to you so we can keep track of it. Thanks.
All right. Our next meeting will be February 19th at 7:30, which will be immediately following the public official briefing at a site to be determined.
I will work on that. I will work on that.
Okay. Public comment? Being none, motion to adjourn.
I would motion that we go home.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't forget your